C8 Pate back at you with another video. And in today's video, I am going to talk about everything that has ever happened or went wrong with my Can-Am Ryker. I'm going to talk about for the 2019. I'll do another video on that 2022 that you see sitting over here under the cover. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about everything that has happened since I purchased this in a negative way to this. And I want to prove and just show that these are reliable bikes. It just comes down to, at the end of the day, how you take care of yours, and showing you guys a lot of times that I had problems. It isn't the bike's fault sometimes. It's my fault. I'm the one that did it. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, comment, like, most importantly, share. Let's get into it. So one of my first problems that I had early on is the light kept coming on, the VSS fault light kept coming on in here, and it would say VSS fault, and it had a little squiggly lines. Now that, in my opinion, I think that was me originally not being used to the bike and riding the brake a lot, riding the brake and the throttle at the same time a lot. That's my opinion of what was going on. Because when you take it to the shop and you're looking at codes and stuff like that, nothing was really, by the time I got into the shop, nothing was going on with it, right? So when I first purchased it, the shop is like 50 miles from my actual location that I was normally at. So it's all the way up in this place called Woodstock. So by the time I would drive it up there, the bike would be in limp mode. So I couldn't go over like 54, 55 miles per hour. So with that being said, by the time I would get the bike to the shop, the bike would come out of limp mode at around 20 miles. So then you get into the shop, you get it all the way up there, and they're like, hey, we can't figure out anything that's wrong with it. So that used to be kind of frustrating for me overall. Just like, man, what do you mean you don't know what's wrong with it? Hey, I just, limped over here, and then on the way here, so it was, I think it definitely was the brake, as some people say, the yaw sensor, but I think it was the brake and me riding the throttle a lot. After that, what was another thing? Hey, I made a mistake. So you new riders that are out of there, a lot of this content is for you guys. I made a mistake and I let somebody ride my Ryker that wasn't used to riding a Ryker, and the person crashed into a fence and then went through a fence and then crashed into a garage because I kept telling them to hit the brake and they kept hitting the throttle instead. So the person worked at the post office and they said they have these things at the post office called mules or something like that, and mentally it tripped them up, and that's how they had the accident. So the bike went in limp mode from there. Again, that's something that's my fault. No different than riding the brake. At the end of the day, 9 times out of 10, that's something that's my fault. Hey, if I stay off the brake, I won't have an issue, right? What happened after that? I started doing things like changing the oil. I thought these were like, not, instead of doing the research, I thought these were like cars. We needed to change the oil every 3,000 miles. No, the dealer said change the oil like every 6,000 miles. I changed the oil in the first 6,000 miles twice. It wasn't a bad thing, but hey, I didn't really need to do that. Bike wise, one of the things that was not on me was definitely on the bike. Inside the engine, where the radiator thing is some hoses and some clamps that hold the radiator hoses onto the radiator. One of those clamps came off. They're not the most sturdiest clamps. So while I was riding, one of those clamps came off and the bike overheated and everything came out. So I was able to open it up, look at it, and not take that into the shop. I was able to put the clamp back on, get antifreeze, put that in there, and I got that back to working. So I was real proud of myself about that one. Yes, one of my recent problems is my exhaust is burning a hole in my side bag. The exhaust, I put a custom exhaust on, aftermarket exhaust, and it's burning a hole in my shad bag. So that's not on the bike, right? That's either on the manufacturer of the exhaust, or it's just on me for not understanding that, hey, plastic and heat don't go together and they're too close together or whatever, so on and so forth. But when I put the exhaust on, I didn't see any issues overall, or feedback online and stuff like that. I didn't really see anything that said that would be an issue. So Maybe that's on me, maybe not on me. It is what it is. Lights, I put a bunch of lights on it. The lights always go out. So especially this one, this light right here, that light always goes out because you're driving, you hit a bump, and things just happen overall. The lights just constantly go out because it's so much wear and tear. So like some people would just use this as a show bike and kind of put it up. I don't. I really ride this thing. Another thing that happened is the back wheel got a big dent in it because I hit a pothole in the city. That's not the bike's fault, right? Hey, I hit the biggest pothole you could think of in the city. So again, I've never had a problem with my radio. Once I put that radio on in 2019, 3 years ago, and never ever had an issue with it. So the radio is never an issue. All the lights and stuff that I've put on it, that can be an issue whether I had to change the battery out and get a stronger battery. So I think, it's only been one time that the lights drained the bike down to where it wouldn't start. Other than that, I haven't had an issue with that overall. So overall, the bike is really reliable. Most of the things that happen, they happen because of me. So sometimes I see people in the comment section, they say, oh, well, it sounds like you got a lemon. I didn't get a lemon. Hey, I just keep messing with the bike, or I'm adding accessories. If I just added the basics and didn't do all the stuff that I do, I wouldn't have an issue at all with the bike. But since I'm adding accessories, hell yeah, you better believe you're going to have some issues overall. So get in the comment section, let me know, what issues have you had with your bike? Or if you've had your bike 6 months, a year, tell me what year it is, what the mileage is, and say, hey, I haven't had any issues with my bike at all. Things have been smooth sailing, which just proves if you leave the bike alone, leave it to the bare minimum, maybe just if you want to throw a radio on only, or, some little tough skin or something like that, hey, you cool. Nothing gonna happen with your bike. But when you add all these accessories, that's when you get in trouble with these bikes. What else? The only drawbacks to the bike, I would say, definitely are little creaks, like little sounds and different things like that. So like one of my big sounds is coming from here. So when I take off or start, that thing right there is like, it's not loose. It's plastic. Anytime you have a lot of plastic things, make noise. And as they make noise and this and that, and this is basically heat, plastic, and vibration and a little bit of metal mixed together. It works. It's a reliable product, but you're gonna have some problems at some point. I can't wait to see if one of these gets to 100,000 miles. Get in the comment section right now and let me know, do you think you can get one of these to 100,000 miles without it just completely breaking down and you constantly having to overhaul it? I guess I'll see. My next purchase is probably going to be a Spider, but I'm going to keep this one. And then obviously I can just go back and forth and ride between the two. If I like the Spider so much that I never ride this one, obviously I'll probably sell it. But get in the comment section right now. Let me know what you thought about the video. I'm trying to think, did I have any other issues? I've never had a seat issue. So the seats have been okay. Nope. No trans issues. No, my belt. I had to replace the belt at 12,000 miles, the CVT belt. So obviously I did a video on that last week. That cost a bit of money. But again, that's just normal wear and tear, normal maintenance or whatever, especially if you're doing like a lot of burnouts and this and that. You might be able to get that CVT belt to 20,000 miles if you ride these normal. But if you're constantly on that throttle and stuff like that, no, that CVT belt is probably not going to last. So get in the comment section right now. Let me know what you thought about the video. Let me know what issues you've had. Until next time, my friends, C8 Pate out.